Today on Community Cooking, we have guest chef Michelle Ibarrientos in the kitchen. And on the menu, we've got simple Filipino-inspired dishes with a healthy twist. We're taking favorites like menudo, garlic fried rice, and tapioca pudding and giving them a makeover. We are cooking with some of the best cooks in our own community. So grab a seat, get comfortable, and be prepared for another awesome menu in under 30 minutes. This is your Community Cooking. Hello and welcome to Community Cooking. I am your host, Kirk Leins. In our kitchen today is my friend Michelle Ibarrientos. Hello there, Michelle.
Hi, Kirk.
How are you doing?
Good, great. How about you?
Excellent. I am excited to get you going here because this menu is an inspired menu. I mean, it's Filipino-inspired food, but with a healthy twist, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I know we've got a menudo, which you've changed some ingredients around. Actually, all these dishes you have. We've got a quinoa and sauteed spinach, and then we've got a chia seed pudding.
Yes.
Sounds awesome. But we're going to start with the menudo, correct?
Yes.
All right, so tell me about the ingredients that go into the menudo.
Okay, so we have here extra lean ground beef, extra virgin olive oil, bay leaves, a Sauté powder, which is annatto seed powder.
Okay.
Garlic, onions, carrots, zucchini, red bell pepper, raisins, black pepper and salt, and coconut sugar and soy sauce and tomato sauce.
Okay, so a couple of things here that jump right out. First off, now, the menudo, Filipino menudo, is much different than Mexican menudo. Mexican menudo is made with tripe, and typically Filipinos with pork, correct?
Pork or ground beef.
Okay, so you do see it because you have a very lean, you can tell that's a very lean ground beef. So you've really lightened up the fat content there, correct?
Yes.
And then the annatto seed. The annatto seed, let's talk about that for a second because, I mean, are you using it mostly for color or is it imparting flavor in this dish? What is the...
For both.
Okay.
So it's has a spicy scent that's different from paprika. I mean, you can use this in place of paprika.
Okay, I was just going to ask you if you didn't have that, you could use paprika. All right, great. Well, let's get started. Where do we what do we begin with in terms of cooking?
Okay, well, the pan is hot enough. We're going to saute or add the oil.
Okay, and is that just vegetable oil or is that olive oil?
Extra virgin olive oil.
Okay.
And then we want to fry up the annatto seed powder.
And, you know, it's funny. That's something that you see in like Indian cooking, not so much in like French or American cooking, where you're taking the spices and you're actually putting it into the hot oil and blooming them that way.
Yes.
But look at that
makes
color.
a big difference.
Yeah, look at that color. I mean, it's amazing. It's really vibrant. Now, what got you into this? What inspired you to turn these dishes healthy?
Well, about a year ago, I decided to change my lifestyle into a healthy one.
Okay.
And so that involves a lot of exercise and healthy eating.
Now, I don't think of Filipino food as necessarily being unhealthy.
No, but I like to have like a healthier options.
Okay.
For example, like for the ground beef, usually what's used is the 80-20 ground beef. What I'm using here is the extra lean ground beef, and I think that makes a big difference as far as, you know, the amount of calories.
Sure. Sure, and fat.
And fat, yes.
Right.
So I just added the garlic and just sauteing it a little bit, and then the onions.
Okay. And this is going to impart that beautiful brick red color on all the vegetables.
Yes, and also this is all going to incorporate and be flavorful. And so we're going to sweat out the onions right here.
Okay.
And have everything, including the oil, have a lot of flavor and intensify.
Well, speaking of these vegetables, I got to just point these out. You got these at the farmer's market, correct?
Yeah.
They're absolutely beautiful. I mean, these carrots, they look like they've come from somebody's garden.
Oh, they're gorgeous.
Gorgeous, right? And the color on that red pepper is just so deep and awesome. And everything you cut here very small. Is that sort of the key to this? Is kind of keep the vegetables a little on the smaller side?
Yes, it's partly because we're working with ground beef and it cooks faster.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's all right.
And being a busy mom of two lovely girls, I'm limited on time when it comes to cooking. They're
Sure.
hungry right after school.
Oh, I know the
after
drill.
work.
Believe me, I know the drill.
So I have to make everything as quickly as possible. And you can either chop it or even use a mandolin. Sometimes I just like slice it and use a mandolin to dice it that way.
Okay. And at what point do we get the other vegetables? Do they go in next, or does the meat go in next?
The meat goes in next.
Okay, so you're just trying to sweat out the onions a little bit, get some of the.
Yes.
All right.
And so now the onions are ready and the meat's ready to be put in.
Okay. Yeah, that is very lean ground beef. It's probably sirloin, I would say.
Yes, and I'm going to just flatten it out so it can cook evenly.
Okay.
It's like smashing it down to a large meat patty.
I was gonna say it's like a humongous burger.
Right, just like that.
The Filipino food, for people who don't know, I mean, it really is an interesting cuisine. I mean, there's a lot of stuff like, I mean, menudo there's a Mexican dish known as menudo, adobo. In Mexico, that's also like a barbecue sauce. But then at the same time too, there's other things that are definitely an Asian feel, like a lumpia is like sort of an egg roll. You know, it's a very sort of like a cuisine that it seems to embody a lot of cultures.
It does. It does.
Very interesting, but very delicious, like homey sort of food, correct?
It is, and it's some of these dishes are Spanish inspired.
Right, right. That makes sense. That makes
So I'm
sense.
going to flip this
Okay.
over. So it's already browned on the outside.
Right. That smells great. Absolutely smells delicious.
Yeah, you can smell like the garlic and onions and even the sauté powder or annatto seed powder.
I'm sure you could probably substitute turkey in there too if you wanted to.
Yes, definitely. You can substitute a turkey or even ground chicken.
Ground chicken, yep.
Anything with a mild flavor, unless you want something like with lamb in here too.
Yeah, yeah.
I think ground meat, and I love working with ground beef because there's no chopping involved.
Okay.
Beef.
Yeah, right, right.
So I'm going to start breaking this apart.
What have you noticed any benefits in switching to the healthier lifestyle?
Yes, some of them has to do with weight loss.
Okay.
I actually lost several pounds just by eating right and exercising.
Yeah. Can we add the rest of the ingredients at this point?
Let's start. Let me just break this up a
Sure
little bit
thing.
more.
Okay.
It's almost done. Now that I've turned up the heat a little bit.
Okay.
All right. Now I'm going to add
Our veggies here?
yes, our vegetables, our
Great.
carrots, our zucchini. And I'm using zucchini in place of potatoes.
Oh, okay.
Just
So
because
typically a potato would be, that's a nice substitute.
And I like zucchini a lot because it has a mild flavor, and at our house, like, no one eats potatoes,
Right, right.
including my husband. Going to add this one next.
Beautiful. Very colorful dish.
Yes.
And the
it is
raisins, I like that.
vibrant.
That's sort of your little pop of sweetness.
A little bit of sweetness.
Any reason why you have them chopped up? You're just looking for smaller bites?
Oh, that and my husband's not a huge fan of having the whole raisins
So
in
you're
them.
hiding raisins in his menudo?
Yes.
Like a kid? I love it.
And cutting them up makes the dish a little bit sweeter.
Okay.
And
Then we're going
then-
to add our liquids.
Yes. And then we're gonna add the tomato sauce.
Delicious.
Like that.
How can you go wrong with that? That's just like, I like to cook that down and put it on like a sandwich, like a Filipino sloppy Joe.
Oh yeah.
Right?
So good. I love tomato-based
Beautiful.
dishes, especially the ones that are really saucy. And this is coconut sugar.
Just a little bit more sweetness.
Yes, a little
Okay.
bit more sweet. And I'm going to add a little bit of black pepper, just a sprinkle.
Okay, so now I would imagine this is optional here, salt and pepper. Awesome. Now we've got that going. How long does that take to cook?
About 5 minutes.
Great. Well, I tell you what, I think this is a perfect time to take a break. Okay, and on the other side, we're going to work on our quinoa and spinach as well as our chia seed pudding.
Sounds great.
All right, so we've got some work to do. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Community Cooking. Welcome back to Community Cooking. If you're just joining us, I'm in the kitchen with Michelle at Barrientos, who is preparing a very delicious looking and healthy Filipino-inspired meal. And we've got our menudo, our beef menudo, bubbling away over there, which it looks and smells awesome. And now we're going to prepare our quinoa and sauteed spinach.
Yep.
Tell us about the ingredients that go into that.
Well, they're pretty simple. It's just extra virgin olive oil,
Okay.
crushed garlic, and spinach. And then we're going to add some cooked quinoa right here.
So that quinoa's already been cooked. So this is actually a really good dish to do if you have leftover quinoa.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Like I usually have leftover quinoa because
Right.
just the small cup that you boil or cook, expands.
Makes a lot, and it's also very filling. Okay, so how do we get started?
So let's check the pan. Okay, it's hot.
Okay.
Okay, we're going to add the olive oil. And then the garlic.
And you've got a good amount of garlic there.
Yes.
So this is a very garlic-forward dish.
3 cloves of garlic. I love garlic.
I do too.
It's really good for you too.
I do too. Yeah, yes, of course.
Saute the garlic just for a little bit.
Yeah, because you don't want that to burn, correct?
Yes. So usually when I leave the garlic in the pan by itself and I do other things, I look back, it's like burnt,
And it's
and I have
done.
to do it all over again.
Yeah, that's one of those things that you really can't walk away from.
Unless you want burnt, bitter
Garlic, right.
garlic, then
Right.
go for it, but I don't. All right, so now that the garlic's softened, it's ready for the spinach.
Okay.
I'm going to add the spinach in.
And that is what looks like a lot of spinach, but that will shrink down into very little spinach.
Yes, that's why it's good to use a big pot like this,
Right.
just so that you don't have spinach all over the place.
Yeah, it really is amazing how much of a water content there is in there, because that's really what's happening, you know. And people underestimate how much spinach they need to feed, to feed people, because it just cooks down so fast.
And this is half a pound of spinach.
Right. It's a good way to get your greens. You're definitely getting your greens, right?
Yes, yes, and I love spinach because it's just rich in fiber and it's flavorful, and I love how tender it gets when it's cooked down.
And how about your girls? Do they love it?
My younger one does. My older one likes more of broccoli, like the harder vegetables.
Okay. But maybe by incorporating this into quinoa, she likes it a little better.
Oh,
Is it
yes.
easier for her to eat? Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
so let's
delicious.
just cover this for a little bit.
Okay.
And then next thing we're going to do is once it's wilted down,
Okay, and how far down do you want that wilted? Do you want it really wilted, or?
soft, but not until not when it's like overcooked.
Okay.
But just soft enough that once you add your other ingredients, it'll start cooking down a little
Okay.
bit more.
Okay.
So
Probably pretty close. That goes fast, you know?
it does, it does.
And I'm sure what's on the bottom is already probably almost there.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna just
Yeah.
turn it over a little bit more, and some people don't necessarily like to cook it down for too much, and they just like a little bit of crunch.
Yeah, so I guess probably pretty forgiving. It could go either way. Like sometimes you can make a salad and just like a spinach salad, just put a warm dressing on it, where it just barely wilts it, and that's good too.
Oh yeah, I love warm spinach salad.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes with bacon, right?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, delicious. One of my faves.
Okay, so I think this is cooking down
Yeah, you
pretty
look good.
quickly. All right, I'm going to add
Excellent.
my quinoa right here.
Such a nutritious grain, right?
Yes, it's really filling. You don't need a lot of quinoa. How much of quinoa in the dish is totally up to you.
Once again, making it perfect as a leftover, vehicle for leftovers.
Yeah, you can add quinoa to anything.
So at this point, we're probably pretty good, right?
Yes.
Okay,
Oh,
we can just
we're
kind of.
going to add a little bit of salt.
All right,
now.
yeah.
Just a little bit. Just a pinch. And black pepper.
Great. All right, well, our meal is probably almost pretty much done. We just got to finish up
Yes.
this dessert now, right? Or make the dessert, I should say.
Yes. So I'm going to just let that cook down a little bit more. And then I'll cover it.
All right, why don't you tell us about the ingredients that are going into our dessert.
In the dessert, I'm using a chia seeds,
Okay.
and I'm going to put it in coconut milk.
And that is just straight coconut milk, right?
Yes.
I mean, the kind that
Oh,
you...
it's light coconut milk, I'm
Oh,
sorry.
it's light. Okay, so it's the kind that you get in the can?
Yes.
Okay. So we've got a couple cups of that. This looks like toasted coconut.
Yes, it is.
Beautiful. What do we have over there?
Oh, it's extract, vanilla extract.
Little vanilla,
Yes.
okay. And then corn? What's up with that? Talk to me about the corn.
Well, in the traditional ginataan halo halo, or even a halo halo, we like to have a little bit of crunch and sweetness. We like corn in there.
And typically it's made with tapioca, right?
Yes.
Okay, but we're substituting with the chia seeds. And for anyone unfamiliar, I mean, it's pretty much like the new hot superfood, right?
Yes, it is.
Really good athletes use it to help them hold on to water, keep hydrated, and you just wait till you see what this does. Okay, so let's get started. What are we working with first? I also see some yams here. Is that what that is?
Yes. So there are two different yams. There's a purple one here and a white one here.
Okay.
And it's totally up to you. You can use any purple sweet potatoes that you want.
All right.
Typically in the traditional halo halo, we use a purple yam, which is different from the sweet potato.
Okay.
And it's hard to find purple yams around, but if you can find a purple sweet potato, that's a great substitute
Farmer's
for
market.
it.
There we go.
So I'm going to open up so you can see how it looks like. Look how gorgeous that is.
That's beautiful. That is
at that.
absolutely beautiful. Yeah. That's awesome.
And then I'm going to just be using half of it.
Okay. And then how about this banana? Are we using that too?
Yes.
You want me to get started
Just
on that?
slice it up or dice it.
Okay.
Make it into small pieces.
I love desserts that utilize fresh fruit.
Oh, me too.
You know what I mean? It's like, and that's a really good way to stick to the, I don't have much of a sweet tooth, so I'm lucky that way. I'll indulge here and there, but I don't crave that. I do, however, like something a little bit sweet after dinner, so to have like a fruit-based dessert, that's nice. That's nice. And you're getting some nutrition, you know?
It is. And having different colors in dessert, and especially a healthy one, and it's pleasing to the eye and to the palate at the same time.
Yeah, yeah. You can kind of feel good about eating dessert.
A healthy one too.
Yeah. All right.
So I don't know if you know, but chia seeds actually have more omega-3 fatty acids than 1 ounce of salmon.
Wow, that's saying something.
does.
That's yeah. So there you go. So now you're also getting your omega-3s. All right, so we've got banana, we've got our purple yam. What comes next?
So we're going to pour in the coconut milk in here.
Okay.
So don't worry about it being a little
It's all
chunky.
going to come together
Yes.
into a beautiful pudding anyway. Here, let me take that for
Okay.
you.
And then just put in the chia seeds.
All of these?
Yes.
All right.
And we're going to just, I'm going to use my little egg beater right here.
Okay. Oh, very cute.
And just
And
give it a good whisk.
these things are kind of magical because they like to plump up. They hold on to the liquid, they plump up, and they get very gelatinous. So there's no. So you're not putting this on the heat at all, right?
No.
That's all you got to do.
There's no need to cook this at all. All right.
Okay.
I'm going to add the
Vanilla.
which is just a couple of drops.
Give it a little depth of flavor.
Yes. And the stevia.
Okay.
So I'm using stevia instead of refined sugar.
And you're okay with it with that being in this dish? 'Cause I know you
Yes.
said it with the menudo, it didn't really work so well.
This one, it works really well. It doesn't turn bitter. It doesn't taste bitter at all. It just
okay.
adds sweetness, and it's a healthier option.
Definitely.
Without, and it's diabetic friendly.
Yeah, right. Comes from a plant.
And you want to break up the seeds really well because they tend to clump together.
This is true, right? Yeah.
So that's why I'm using a whisk. All right, so I think we're good on that. So we're ready to add the corn, bananas, and
Okay, in goes the
the sweet
corn.
potato.
If you think about it, corn is sweet. So it's like if you're adding it to something, if you're putting butter and salt on it, you're going to give it a salty sort of, quality to it, or a savory quality to it. But if you're adding it to something sweet, it's going to take on, or sort of blend with that sweetness.
It surely does, and I love just all of these incorporated together.
Okay, and just give that a little
Yes.
mix.
And I like to fold this in because if I use the whisk to whisk this up, you'll have a purple pudding, unless you want that.
Right, you want to, and also too, I think you probably want to keep the integrity of that fruit and the yam, right? You don't want it to become mush or break into even smaller pieces. These are nice, evenly diced pieces of fruit, and you kind of want to keep it that way. They're soft, so they'd be probably very easily done. Now, in terms of setting up, because we've got a finished product over here, how long does this take?
It normally takes at least 2 hours to set. I like to leave mine in the fridge overnight and just eat it for breakfast the next day. But you know what? This is actually ready. You can even eat the seeds just how they are. You can sprinkle it over.
But definitely more of a pudding when it sets up. Yeah,
exactly.
but a make-ahead here. Yes. A make-ahead. That's great. All right, well, I tell you what. I mean, this sounds like a perfect spot to take a break. We've got to let our chia seed pudding set up. But on the other side, we get to taste some healthy Filipino cuisine.
Sounds good to me.
All right, we've got more work to do, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Welcome back, and it's taste test time. I'm so excited because everything smells so great. You gonna dish me up a bowl of that Menudo?
Yes, I will.
It looks and smells so good. Yeah, you know, it's got, like, I mean, you could really do sort of anything with that. You were mentioning earlier something about what you did if you have leftover Menudo. Oh,
yeah, you can actually make a different dish by adding some spices to it. Like, I like to add curry powder.
Curry would be delicious.
Yes, it tastes so good. And it's just a pre-made curry powder. Nothing fancy at all. It's totally up to you how you want to change it.
I could see that being served on top of like a whole wheat pasta. You know what I mean?
Yeah, or add chili powder too.
Make a chili,
yes.
Sure. Okay, let's. It's time. Right? It's time. I want to give this a try. This looks so good. It smells so savory. You know what? The sweetness from that raisin is perfect. I like it. I like that a lot. Yeah, you know what? I could see this being kid-friendly. Not a problem.
Yeah, they have that sweet and savory flavors.
Equally as delicious. You know, usually this is served over rice, right?
Yes.
So that's kind of the substitute you've made there. Great. Wow, delicious. I like that very much. On to this beautiful looking pudding. Look at that. Wow.
So it's nice and set, and would you like some toasted coconut?
I would love some.
Right.
One of my favorite things.
Sprinkle a little bit of it here. All
right.
It's ready for you.
Let's see here. Wow, look how thick that got. Yeah. So coconutty. I want that for breakfast.
Oh, I have that for breakfast sometimes.
That is so good. That is. I want to get one of these sweet potatoes though, because I did not get that in the last bite. Or yams, I should say. I'm sorry. Got one with banana. Really creamy. Really good. This is a delicious meal.
I'm glad you like it.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that with us. And please feel free to come back and share some more of these healthy Filipino dishes, because this is really, really good.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here and to share my recipes with you.
Yes, thank you. And you know what? Thank you for joining us. Please feel free to make this. Actually, I recommend you making it. It's delicious. And I also recommend you coming back and watching us again. It's Community Cooking. We'll see you next time.
If you'd like a copy of the recipes seen on this show, send us a self-addressed stamped envelope to the Office of Cable and Community Relations. That's 3350 Civic Center Drive, Suite 200, in Torrance, California, 90503. Be sure to note the show number displayed on the screen. And don't forget, you can find all the fresh ingredients used on today's show at the Farmers Market. Visit the one here in Torrance at Wilson Park. That's located at 2200 Crenshaw Boulevard. They're open every Tuesday and Saturday from 8 a.m. until 1 p.m., rain or shine. And if you'd like to be a guest on our show, email us at communitycooking@torranceca.gov and check us out online at youtube.com/TorranceCityCable and like us on Facebook at Community Cooking TV.